have a lot of stories, but then I think of, I had this breakdown last week. No, a couple of weeks I had this breakdown. I started writing a story a couple years ago before Genesis actually came out. And it is a book that's a major book that's already out, that came out. And I was like, when I came out, I was like, oh, God, they're so darn similar. Like, I can't write this book. It has some similarities to this. And this is a bestseller. And I put it down not to look at it. But lately, it's called me out. Like, I need you to work on me. So I'm trying to make it different. So I had this conversation like, oh my gosh, I'm telling stories. The stories in me, they're already out there. What if they're already out there? How am I going to be different? So I was listening to something about every story's been told, but it's the authenticity that you bring to it that makes a difference. So we have 100 Romeo and Juliets, but the way you bring your authentic self to that and the way you tell that story makes a difference, and it makes it true, and it makes it original. So I have to trust that the way I view this story and the Alicia-ness that I bring to it will make it different versus the one that's the simple. So no one can like, oh, harp on the similarities because it feels so real to that person. Like somebody could say that about Genesis. Oh, the skin is just like the skin you're in, or something. But the authenticity of me bringing myself to that story makes it so much different. That makes sense?
Absolutely makes sense. That's something I've been trying to drill into my poor writing students. And I teach at the Indiana Writers Center here. And I had one woman I'm so proud of. She just published her first short piece and a story over the summer. But she wrote me and she was just very upset because she'd written this story about the apocalypse. And there was a movie that came out that was somewhat similar. And I just kind of broke it down for her and said, well, now, would you have cast this actor? No. Would you have done this? Well, no, not exactly. And they didn't tell the story that I told her, I've written 2 different zombie books. There are plenty of zombie stories already. These are mine. Right. They had the Rob Kentness up to them. So I hope that all of the authors out there listen to that, take that to heart, that we might have heard a similar story. I think there's only 7 major plots. So I think that's what Christopher Booker broke it down to, or maybe it was somebody prior to him, and I just read his version of it probably. But the 7 basic plots, these stories have been kind of sort of told already, but we haven't heard your version. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk a lot about Genesis Begins again because I have lots of questions about that. But I want to get to how you got to writing because it's a bit of a journey that's not straightforward. I want to find out how you got there so the people that are listening and say I want to be the next Alicia D. Williams, listen close, lean in. We're going to get to it. So you go off and you become an actress. How long are you an actress? And you went from Kentucky, just moved to New York. Did you know anybody out there, or did you just go there?
I got accepted. Oh my gosh. I feel like 30-30. Have you ever watched, is it 30 for 30 on ESPN?
Oh, uh-huh.
This is what it feels like if you make me start digging deep, Rob.
Well, if we get to anything you're uncomfortable with, just say, let's change the subject.
like have me thinking the tears come. Well, I will admit the side story. But yeah, I got into the school and I didn't know anyone in New York. It just worked out. So, okay. Okay. Yeah, it worked out. I was about to tell you about the ex-husband and everything. That doesn't matter. But I once I got there. Okay, I'll tell you. Quick story. Okay. So I got there and I got married right out of college to someone I knew from middle school. And because I got married, we moved to Jersey City. We didn't know anyone, but met the person who moved in our building and met somebody who helped us look for an apartment. He decided, hey, I need to find myself. And I was like, I'm in this acting school. I got to go to New York every day from New Jersey, Jersey City, and you got to find yourself. So you're gonna leave me. So he left me in New York. I had no money, and he went back home to Detroit. And it was some crazy, crazy things happened. I had no money. I budgeted the $300 I had, and I lived off of 55 cents a day for the bagel for the morning, and $1.50 slice of cheese pizza during the evening, for lunch. And the lady I met that was a single mom, she took care of me. When I got home at night, she would save a meal for me. Yes. So I traveled back and forth, and there was a young lady from Russia. So I'm in the school, and I don't know anybody, but I'm getting to know all of us actors because we're all in our 20s, like 23 or whatever. So it was really great. I had a young lady from Russia, Anya. She saw me trying to calculate, like, how can I stay here? Because I can't go back to Detroit. I mean, where would I go? I have less than $300. How would I be able to stay another semester? And so she stopped me. She saw me in the hallway trying to figure it out. She said, I see something in you, and I want to know if you saw it too. I'll bring you $500 tomorrow. And I was like, no. I was like, are you part of the Russian mafia? I like, no. Who does that? Like, not even people in my family were coming up to my defense. Like, so I was like, no, thank you. She was like, I know how much it takes to take care of my sister because her parents died, left their money, and she was taking care of her younger sister. I bring you $500. I wrote that check out to stay another semester, and she let me stay with her in her loft in New York, her apartment in New York, rent free. I still owe her, like, she disappeared after that next semester. I still owe her money. She left. So I went there.
You think she got whacked by the Russian mob?
No, she's like literally, I think I used to say she was an angel, sent for me. But like one day I saw her walking down the street. She had on a wig and a hat and like a long trench coat. And I'm walking and I was like, that is Anya? And she was like, stop. I was like, Anya, I owe you money. Like I took out like the money. She was like, okay. And I was like, what's your number? I need to pay you back. She was like, no. And she walked away. Like, I was like, are you part of the mafia for real? Like, you don't want to stay in touch and want me to pay you back the rest of the money? But like, she disappeared. I saw her that one time afterwards. But like, so I used to take the risk, a leap of faith. Didn't know anyone, but things just kind of always worked out. Even when I felt like I was hitting rock bottom, they worked out. I stayed in New York, did everything that I can imagine. Like, I enjoyed meeting. I wasn't an introvert there, obviously, because I was just like, let's do it. I did auditions that I know I had no business auditioning for, like for a model. Only because they were going to Africa and I wanted to go to Africa. I was like, hey, I'll do it. They were like, no, you're too short. I was like, nope, not really. See me walk. Didn't make it. But like I auditioned for dance troops that I knew I wasn't capable of doing. I was so fearless in that age that, I just was risky,
Had you been like that before, or was it once you got there that you suddenly found this part of yourself?
I think that's when I found myself more so. I can't say that I was in undergrad. I was so much more me. I took a lot, but somehow in New York, after my husband left and me fending for myself, that my voice started to take shape. And I don't know if it was even a conscious thing. It was just a bold thing. Everyone in New York was doing something. You're around people who are, auditioning for Broadway. You're like, I want to do it too. It was just the energy. You kind of get swept up for it. Like we used to go, my roommate and I used to go to the comedy club in Boston's comedy club. They found out that some of the guys found out we were actresses. We all did a sketch comedy group together. And then it was like, hey, y'all might as well do stand up. And it was like the most scariest feeling in the world because your stomach just drops right before. But they were so like, hell, let me help you write your jokes. People that are like you see in movies now and making it big. I'm like, yep, I did comedy with that person. It was just, I don't know if I was cut out for it, the late nights, or if I just needed my own identity because I think me and my roommate just kind of meshed. And as I was developing my own identity, somehow when we did that, it was like just us two as a pair. And that's a whole nother tangent that I felt like I needed to escape it. That's why I went back to Detroit and left New York.
Just because you
Needed my
I'm
own
just
identity again.
okay.
Yeah, I was feeling like I was being swallowed into hers, and I didn't. I needed to. I don't know. I just felt like I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm being crushed under this weight of being a twin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. That made like it was. I was so young. I was still instead of saying, "Hey," I couldn't even voice it. I guess I couldn't have voiced it, but I couldn't. I couldn't. I didn't know what I was feeling to really articulate it. But it was part of the journey. I really think. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a writer right now.